The 2025 cycling season hasn't even properly begun yet, and one thing is already for certain. It's going to be another year where Tadej Pogačar and his henchmen will annihilate the peloton on every single race they attend. Their entire squad has been looking exceptionally strong in the first races on the calendar, and currently, it doesn't look like any other team could be strong enough to stop them. So, are we about to see yet another year of UAE Team Emirates XRG sweeping everyone? Or could any other team prevent that from happening? See, the UAE team came out with guns blazing in mid-February already, and the scariest thing is that Pogačar and his team of rising stars made their dominance seem normal. They were literally 15 seconds away from sweeping the World Tour, and many have started comparing their dominance to Team Sky back in the good old days. It's easy to say that Pogačar and his young teammates had a firm grip on the peloton, made easier to accept by his cheerful personality and their exciting rise. Only a strong but unpredictable Vingegaard stopped them from winning 3 big races in a row last Sunday. Otherwise, it would have been a complete sweep. Pogačar made the UAE Tour his own, lighting up the afterburners in the mountains and riding in the breakaways like it was a training ride. Pavel Sivakov won the Ruta del Sol with relative ease. And if João Almeida hadn't let the 20-year-old Jan Christen take the stage win after they outclimbed Vingegaard and Roglic in the Algarve Mountains, UAE Emirates probably would have won the overall race there too. What's different this time is that there wasn't much criticism of UAE's dominant performance anywhere. To put it in perspective, the UAE rode so well that at one point last week, UAE Emirates riders held 8 of the 18 top 6 finishes across the UAE Tour, Ruta del Sol and Volta ao Algarve. Knowing that, it's easy to understand why it's very likely that only an elite-level super team might be able to stop their dream team from repeating what they did in 2024, if not surpassing that. But the problem is that a team like that might not even exist. Only top riders like Algarve champion Vingegaard and classic specialists Wout van Aert and Mathieu van der Poel might be able to stop UAE Emirates from sweeping all 3 Grand Tours and 5 monuments in 2025. If this kind of dominance had happened with Chris Froome and Team Sky 10 years ago, it would have caused outrage, much like the one we've seen in 2023, where even the fan favourite Sepp Kuss and his Jumbo-Visma squad were on their way to becoming the biggest villains of the sport after they swept the season. Yet thus far, Pogačar's playful personality has kept UAE Emirates from facing the kind of backlash Team Sky and Froome once did. He's a superstar who pulls pranks, does the unthinkable, and makes cycling look fun. This man causes chaos in the peloton by going into random breakaways just to sprint for some extra seconds and drops everyone on the climbs just for fun. It's hard to hate on a guy who's got the audacity to race the Milan-San Remo, Tour of Flanders, the Tour de France, and Road Worlds all in a single season and dominating at all of them. The focus isn't just on winning the Tour de France like it was for Froome, and fans apparently admire that much more. He's just so unpredictable. On UAE Tour's 5th stage, he just randomly launched an impulsive attack with around 150 kilometers remaining. Him and his teammate Novak went on to stretch their legs with over 3.5 hours to go. And even though they were eventually caught, Pogačar still scared the entire peloton and even collected a time bonus on the way. As a side quest, his doings also caused the stage to become the fastest ever stage in the UAE Tour history. And his reaction to that? Well, he said, "It was just a funny moment, like last year in the Volta, Catalunya. Me and Domen alone in the front with a 1.5-minute gap to the bunch." Pogačar's energy and variety stand out even more because his main rival, Vingegaard, takes a more careful and planned approach. It's not about being overly greedy, it's just insanely big ambition. What's also great is that the UAE Team Emirates are great at both scouting and developing riders, which helps them constantly stand on top. The team hits it big with one of the smartest recruitment strategies in cycling. Sure, they spend a lot on big contracts, but most of their future stars, like Christen, Pablo Torres, Isaac Del Toro, and Antonio Morgado, are signed while they're young and cheap. Who knew who a kid with a surname of a national dish was when he first joined from the unknown corners of Slovenia? I don't think anyone did. However, we still have to look at things from the other perspective as well, since not everything UAE Team Emirates have done was particularly great. For example, it was a bit disappointing to see a big-money team turn top classic riders like Rune Herregots and Florian Vermeersch into mountain helpers at the UAE Tour. It's also disappointing to see top riders like Jay Vine and Sivakov, who could be team leaders, working as helpers for POGI in the Grand Tours. But that's just what they decided to do, and it's obviously working for them. It's also not hard to believe that for a mega team with a 50 million plus budget, hiring the best experts, doing wind tunnel testing, and signing the most appealing young talent isn't really a problem. Smaller teams like Intermarché can only watch from a distance while they save every penny. And it's becoming increasingly harder for them to stay competitive. We're not hinting at anything, but think back 10 years to the Death Star team bus. The way Team Sky hired leaders and helpers, and all the other things people disliked about Dave Brailsford's confident team. You can paint your own picture. For now, though, the UAE Team Emirates haven't really been called as the rich bullies of the peloton, and it's not really fair to compare them to Team Sky, for example. Sure, they're dominating in a similar way, but they're way more polite. The team has riders with style and, thanks to Pogačar, feels like a wild group on the edge of chaos. The boring talk about process and marginal gains stays in the team car instead of being shared in a press release. Put simply, instead of helping fans and interviewers fall asleep with their advanced over-analysis of every single detail, they're trolling on Instagram with Pogačar riding on pavé, sending the entire cycling world into a frenzy and making everyone talk about it. However, the perspective could change as quickly as Pogačar sped down the Arenberg in that IG post. The growing complaints about a team funded by oil with a questionable past could get worse quickly. Any problems with Pogačar's likable personality could cause UAE Emirates XRG to fall apart. He's the face of the team, and without him, they likely wouldn't be as likable as they are. Similarly, things might get boring if the team wins all the Grand Tours and 5 monuments this season. It's not definitive, but there's a pretty solid chance it could happen. Riders like Adam Yates, Niels Pollitt and Tim Wellens can cover the Giro and Roubaix races that Pogačar isn't doing. Well, whether he'll do Roubaix or not remains to be seen. Now, without a doubt, other super teams like Visma Lease Bike, Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, and even Soudal Quickstep, when Remco recovers, will have plans of their own as well. Vingegaard's time trial win in the Algarve on Sunday shows that 2025 won't be an easy year for UAE Emirates. And we all know winning in February doesn't guarantee success at the Tour de France, where the big boys line up. At the time of making this video, UAE Team Emirates have an impressive 12 wins from 6 riders already. This means Pogačar's team has nearly double the wins of the next best, Quickstep, and is way ahead of Visma Lease Bike. But this could all change in an instant, and it doesn't really mean anything too serious. Pogačar's chances at San Remo and Flanders depend as much on luck as his amazing form. But if Pogačar keeps being Pogačar and everyone is entertained, they'll be just fine. Also, Yates and Juan Ayuso's Giro d'Italia plans will face a big challenge from former race leader Roglic too. He's decided to go for both the Giro and Tour this year, and while many are saying this decision doesn't make any sense whatsoever, there is actually a deeper truth that makes complete sense for him and the team. You can hear more about that by clicking the video on your screen right now.